Hello and welcome to Two Girls, One Pod. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Tina.
And we are back for another Big Brother 23, season 23 after show. And we got a lot to unpack today.
Yeah, it was definitely another action-packed filled episode.
It's a shit show. What is going on in the Big Brother house?
I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah, like it's just okay. All right, I'm already a couple of pages ahead here. So first of all, we'll give a big shout out to Crystal, because the last couple of weeks we've been Two Girls, One Pod, and Tina, and now Crystal's gone, so we're back to just Two Girls, One Pod. And maybe when she comes back, we'll start calling it Two Girls, One Pod, and Crystal.
Poor girl leaves for a bit of vacay, and I mean, I'm just swooping right on in there. Sorry, Crystal.
We should paste your head on our thumbnail over hers. I'd be like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a graphic designer. Got some Photoshop skills.
Can do it. Oh my God. Okay. So yeah, so we do have a lot to unpack. I'm glad we're doing these after the individual episodes instead of stacking them, because on Big Brother Canada, when we were watching your show, Crystal and I did like one a week. So we would
okay.
3 episodes in one conversation, and we'd be here for like an hour and a half. So
yeah,
this is a bit easier, but
this is a little bit easier.
Yeah. So it opens it up, showing the clips obviously from last week. So Frenchie's on the block along with Brittany, and we see a very emotional Brittany, which you had commented on last week that you think is going to hurt her.
I think, yeah, it's she's coming across as too emotional, which it's kind of giving the impression that she's not thinking clearly. Just to kind of go a little bit further ahead to when she kind of had the conversation with Kyland, she got too defensive about his nominations, and right now I think she should be playing a little bit more low key. Everyone knows the target is Frenchie, so by creating that wave of emotion, and that she's kind of almost adding to the kind of erratic behavior to it. So she knows she's safe, or she should know she's safe, and she's not looking at the rational side of why Kyland nominated her alongside of Frenchie. So I think she just kind of needs to step back a bit, just let Frenchie do his thing for the rest of the week,
Let him implode on himself.
And just, sit back and just wait. So just ride this one out.
He should let Frenchie carry on with his erotic behavior.
Oh, Brent.
I'm fucking dying at that. I wrote a note, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I might say that from now on.
Erotic behavior.
Yeah, like, oh my God, they're just acting so erotic.
Oh yeah, that was funny when him and Hannah were in the hammock talking about that. That was funny.
So much.
But yeah, so what about Brent and Hannah? Is this something that could be sparking?
Mm-hmm. I got showmance written down there. I said maybe he said maybe I'll introduce her to my mother.
You never know.
That's
right. You never know. I mean, they're into this week mark in the house. Things are times 10 in that house, so it you never know.
Well, like you said, it's like literally living with somebody, but without the distractions of social media and the internet and books, or even like writing. Like everything is
that's right.
So like all they have to do is interact. So I mean, a week in there with somebody is actually like 4 probably.
Yeah, it equates to a lot more, right? So yeah, they're getting to know each other pretty quick in that house.
Yeah, so I like them. I think they'd be a really, really cute showmans.
Hey, there's a lot of cute pairs in that house. Who knows what's gonna happen?
I'm somebody, I don't love a showmance. I'm cool with watching a showmance. I think that they're not a good game strategy, but I'm here to watch it. I'm like, I'll root for you to be like lovers outside the house, but inside the house, I think you're going to be a huge target. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an automatic target for sure. It depends on how low key they keep it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if they hide it, then who knows?
But is it hard to hide a showmance? Like when you were in the house and Beth and Jed had the showmance and they had the isosceles
I mean,
triangle.
it was obvious. It
Yeah,
really was. But they didn't really make any effort to hide it either,
right.
right?
They weren't trying
Um,
to be like low key.
yeah, exactly. But I think, hey, if there is something blooming between Brent and Hannah, maybe they kind of keep it low key and who knows.
Yeah,
But you know what? There's really only so many places you can go in those. Uh, there's people everywhere, people
exactly.
trying to see stuff. So
And even if you're in a room that nobody's around, Frenchie will lurk around and find you. Like, oh, he's
exactly.
coming for you,
You
right?
don't know who's lurking behind those doors. You have to be very careful.
That dude. Okay. And then he said, so yeah, so it starts off, Brittany's really emotional. We see her, we see Oz's emotional. Their whole team is a little touchy, right?
Yeah.
They're not happy. Two of their team members are up, and I mean, I don't blame them. But then Frenchie comes in and says, if I win, I'm gonna put the veto on your neck. And then he says, because he can get out of it, like this guy's delusional, right? Like it's delusion.
I mean, in all reality, would he even do it?
Well, is he just saying it? I believe he thinks he will. Like when the moment comes down to it, it's probably different. But I do believe that like his plan was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll put it on her. Maybe he thinks that by using the veto on her would make him seem like a better guy or something.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more heroic,
Yeah.
likable. Who knows?
Yeah, but it would be, I mean, like at least when Jed did it, it was a calculated decision based
Yeah,
on numbers and like strategy that like, oh, well, I've got the numbers with me. The
that's
probability
right.
that I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
Frenchie's doing it, talking about doing it week
And
2
when he knows he's probably going anyways.
after he threw up his alliance that he started.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't get the rationale behind that either because, he's going around room to room telling everybody about the Slaughterhouse Alliance and, it's not helping his game. Like
No.
he should be this week he should be in kind of backtrack mode from last week to try
Mhm.
and kind of save his ass.
Yeah.
But I mean, going around and throwing your alliance names, the members of your alliance,
That
just
you
telling everyone.
started.
I mean, that's just it's not going to shift your target.
No. And I mean, the funny thing is too, is that one of the girls said, they're like, I'm pretty sure that this is just a fake alliance and that, or not a fake alliance, but he's throwing everybody under the bus in this alliance that I can only imagine everybody feels the same way that we do about the girls alliance, meaning we're just telling him what he wants to hear.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even if there was a solid alliance with Frenchie at this point,
Mhm.
and he was throwing, the Slaughterhouse under the bus or saying the names, revealing that alliance, any other alliances he's a part of is probably looking at that going, okay, well, I don't want to be in alliance with him. He's only going to blabber it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just not helpful to his game whatsoever.
Do you remember Bye Felicia? Bye Frenchie. Like, go. Is that do people still say bye Felicia? Is that
I think we're gonna head towards something new. I think. You know what? Just fast forward to the end of the episode when the announcer says, "Is Frenchie toast?" I mean, I like that.
It's so good. It's so good in it. But I can't keep up with all like the slang and stuff. Like even with I think was it Braden had a clip on his Instagram like yesterday or the day before or something of him talking to Ty about winning. And he
Yep.
said, would you sauce me 5? And I was like, what? What the fuck does that mean? Sauce me? And I had to like watch it a few times, and I was like, oh, he's talking about like give me money, like you know what I mean? Like they were talking about like, oh, if I win, would you do this and would you do
Yeah.
that?
Exactly.
But I guess it was extra confusing because it was Big Brother Canada, and then Ty was also in a alliance called the Sauce,
Yeah.
so that might have confused me. But I was like, sauce me 5, like.
Hey, listen. It took me half the season to realize when they were going around talking about sus. Like, what?
Crystal had a conversation about it. in one of our episodes.
I mean, I caught on,
Oh
but
yeah,
it's like,
that's sus, bro. Well, because so I had said that to her when we watched one of the episodes. They said somebody was sus, and I was like, "So, Crystal, do you know what that means?" And she laughed at me like I should have known. And I was saying to her, because I was like, I thought I was so cool because I did know, because my cousin had put it up. She's also our age. And she had put it up on Facebook and said something like, "Can somebody please tell me what sus means? My kids keep telling me that I'm sus and I don't know what it means." And she put up like the sentence that her kid used on her. And somebody said that it was from like this game where you have to figure out who's suspicious.
ah,
And that's kind of like, I guess, when it caught on as I don't know, a slang. So, but I
gotcha.
can't fucking keep up with slang.
See, the more you know,
Right?
you learn.
We had I gotta see if I can go back and find that clip and send you that clip, because we had a conversation about it. I was like, "Do you know what sus means?" And I felt so cool. But I say fire now, so I think that I'm cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
back to Derek. So Derek made a good point. Derek, is it Derek F? Is that his last initial?
yeah.
So he said he's upset because Kai didn't let him know who was going up on the block, and it was his own team, but he was
Oh, Derek F, you mean?
F. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
I say F?
I don't know. Sounded like X to me, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Derek F. Derek
F.
French. I'm in a silly mood. But yeah,
Oh no.
where's Monica?
Monica's over there somewhere. I'm not getting up and getting her tonight.
For our listeners who don't watch the YouTube videos, if you go back a few episodes and watch a YouTube video, we all had a big laughing fit that it was cut out of the audio podcast because it was literally just us laughing. But I left it in the video, and if you look at the video, we're all just having the night. What is it? The nighttime sillies.
The nighttime sillies is what myself and Terry used to call them.
We had the nighttime sillies, and Crystal could not focus at all. Every time she looked at Tina, she just lost her shit laughing.
I mean, I don't know if I should take offense to that or not.
It was just
the girl looked up and she just started laughing.
It's because she kept calling her out on her laughing fits. So then it got to the point where she just could not look at Tina. So Tina put up this like little, was it a pen topper?
I don't know what it is. I think it's actually a screen cleaner.
It's one of these like little, we'll call it a bobblehead
there you go.
to be wrong about it. But she held it up in front of her face instead, and Crystal wasn't looking at the screen. And then Crystal looked up, and all she could see was this bobblehead that Tina named Monica. Anyway, it's a lot funnier if you go back and watch. You know what? It's a lot funnier if you're us.
Absolutely. It's definitely funnier if you're here in the moment.
If you're in the moment. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about, because we got a little bit of the sillies going on tonight because it's late.
Well, and Monica's way over there, so
I still have Michael Scott here.
Oh my God.
I have an office doll on my desk. Anybody listening? So it goes back to Derek. So Derek F was saying that he's mad because Kai didn't tell him who was going up on the block. And I do get that, because they're supposed to be close and supposed to be working together. So I think Kai might have burned a little bit of a bridge there, or might have like maybe taken a few bricks out of it. Like, I don't think it's as sturdy as it was.
Yeah, I don't think Frenchie's teammates, Derek F, Azza, and Brittany, and of course Frenchie. I don't think they're in Kai's kind of, words. Use your words, Tina. It's late at night and cannot think clearly. And again, here we go. Anyways, so I just completely lost track of what I was going to say, because that's what happens when you get to my age.
I'm blaming it on the night.
And it's late at night.
It's the nighttime, because so this episode in Newfoundland, we're recording immediately following the episode. So every episode in Newfoundland finishes at 10:30 at night. So then we record at 11. And I mean, I know that doesn't sound like late to somebody in their 20s, but that's a fucking really late time at night. Okay. It's late.
Oh man. So basically what I was kind of going to say was, like, I don't think see, I can't even look at you tonight. All right. Moving on. Oh Jesus, she did it too.
Okay. All right. All right. Moving on. I can catch it. I can get back.
All right, all right. Yeah, so you were talking about Derek F not being too impressed
Yeah.
that Kylan didn't let him know about the kind of um
Frenchie.
nominations and
Yeah.
whatnot. I don't think that in Kylan's mind he's as kind of close to Derek F as Derek F thinks he is with Kylan. I
Yeah.
think, you know what I mean? Like I think Kylan sees Derek F more Frenchie's ally
Right.
than his own. So I mean, why?
And I mean, aside from the teams, because I mean, and it really seems like this season, like the teams that everybody was placed in, they're all really working almost like the teams are becoming an alliance. Are you
Yeah,
noticing that? Like they're close, right? But so I think that maybe that's how the whole house kind of viewed like it's a weak spot to be on Frenchie's team because
yeah,
of the way that he played his first week and the way that he's been acting now. It's like obviously his team wants to keep him in there for the numbers and they're close to them and everybody else is looking at that whole team now as weak or as a target or as on Frenchie's side, so it's almost like they're becoming the enemy.
yeah. That's right. And the thing is with the teams, you don't know how long that's going to last either.
Yeah,
So, you know, how long do you kind of stay on board and try and protect your teammates versus when do you start forming the relationships outside of your team? Because right now, I think anyone who's on Frenchie's team needs to really start forming the bonds outside of
yeah,
their own team because I think that team is going to crumble a lot faster than the other ones.
yeah, absolutely. I think the other teams feel more solid and that when the time comes to disperse, they're still probably going to protect the people who were in their team.
Yeah,
Whereas that team, they may protect like the couple of each other, but all the other teams seem to kind of intertwine and have relationships with each other. And
yeah,
Frenchie's team is more isolated,
I
or
agree. Yeah,
from what we can
that's
see.
what it seems, anyways,
Yeah.
from the edit or whatever.
Yeah. Um, so speaking of emotions, Kyland, he's not getting on my nerves yet, but I have a feeling that if he keeps crying this season, like every time he makes a move, but again, I know that the house is emotional, and I'm like
Yeah,
Crystal said last week, I'm the crier. I'm like, but I don't cry in real life situations. You know what I mean? Like I'm the crier when I'm watching it. So
you know what?
cry
It's
a lot.
really amazing. You know what the house actually kind of does to you. You don't realize how much everything is so heightened in that house. And I think if Kyland outside the house is a guy who kind of wears his heart on his sleeve, then you know that's magnified inside that house. So it is definitely a challenging place, and you really do form those bonds with the people instant,
Yeah,
right? So, you know, I can kind of see it. Um, but I think again, it's kind of one of those things that you almost need to reel in at times as well, because people are
exactly.
kind of going to take notice of all the particular emotional times that you have. You don't want to get kind of put into the stereotype of being an emotional player because that always comes back to haunt,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
like Frenchie,
Yeah.
right? Like he's erotic. I hope the people listening have seen this episode and they know why I'm saying erotic and that I'm not just mispronouncing it. I'm not going to explain why. Go back and watch, people. Go back and watch. Yeah.
Yeah, particularly the conversation with Brent and Hannah in the hammock.
Well, it that leads me to my next one. My next notes.
Oh,
Brent said Frenchie's erotic, and I fucking died. Like that's what started my nighttime sillies. I was good.
oh my
I
God.
was watching the show, I was taking my notes. Brent says he's erotic, and then I just lost it, and I don't think I got it back.
Oh dear God. See,
Um,
this would have been the episode for you to watch while having a couple of beverages, right?
mhm,
I mean, it would have been 10 times more funnier.
like I might just go back and rewatch it and have a few beverages. But if I
Might as
didn't
well, right?
have a day ahead of me tomorrow that I'm already tired about, like I'm pretty
Oh
tired
God.
tomorrow's day. But Friday, look out.
So
Uh,
let's go back to another funny moment then where Tiffany's up in the HOH room and she's talking to Kyland, but she's kind of doing a Frenchie impression.
she was so good.
I mean, let's just talk about Tiffany for a second. You know, I really think she's running the show in a
Oh,
lot of aspects.
yeah.
She's very low key right now, but she's very strategic in her conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really liking Tiffany.
Yeah. I'm liking Brent for the same reason. I liked
Oh,
it
interesting.
well, but I
Yeah,
also think that Brent is like when he has his conversations with people, I think what he wants to happen is going to like we've only seen it a little bit so far, but I think that as the weeks roll out, what Brent wants to happen and maybe what Tiffany, they'd be a good pair, hey?
they would. Yeah.
I wish we could just send them all messages and be like, hey, you two.
Yeah, you need to pair up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You'd make a good alliance. But yeah, no, Tiffany is she knows what's up. It's like she can see everything going on, like a bird's eye view almost. She can see
Yeah.
everything in the house and
She has a good understanding of like what's going on, who's talking to who and whatnot. So she's playing a great game so far.
she's gonna be one to look out for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just made more Frenchy notes. I'll be happy when I can stop writing Frenchy next.
Yeah, I know, right?
He said he's really been delusional. He thinks that the slaughterhouse is running the house. He's like, oh, there's this. He sits down right before he exposed it. He said, well, there's an alliance, you guys, that is running this entire house. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? The alliance is hardly even real. It's just a thing that you guys said one day and you think is real, but everybody else kind of knows that it's a joke because the people in it aren't they don't want to protect each other.
No.
Right? Like anyway.
No, and like you say, it goes back to, his erratic behavior and loose cannon. I'm not saying it, Chris
It is
or
erratic
Melissa, I'm not saying
behavior.
it. No.
That old erotic Frenchie.
So let's talk about the POV.
Okay, yes. So
So go ahead, take it away.
before we get there, can we talk about Alyssa being wrapped in toilet paper and then Kylan trying to have a serious conversation with her?
I know, right? Yeah, as she's walking away, she's like, and because you've had a serious conversation with me, people are now going to see me wrapped in toilet paper.
Yeah, like thanks. Really appreciate it. I
Yeah,
did.
they're broadcasting this one.
I enjoyed that. I really did. I thought that was funny. Yeah, okay. So veto players: Kylan, Brittany, Frenchie, Alyssa, Claire, and Derek X. This veto comp was no joke.
No, it's not. I mean, none of these competitions are jokes.
They're after getting harder. So like, because I know from my experience of all the competitions I've played in Big Brother US and Canada. But like I was saying to Crystal, your season, we were watching it, and I was like, these competitions are way harder than the US ones. Like they look harder when you're watching it from TV or from my house. So I'm watching all of the competitions and I'm like, these are like 3-part competitions. They seem to have like a little bit of everything. They're well-rounded. They're really hard comps. And then the American competitions, a lot of them, they just look like fun, like, and a little bit easier, I guess, to win. But this season it just feels like it's another playing field. It's like they've upped the prize money, so they've had to up everything.
They've had to up it all around.
Yeah. So yeah, this one was good. So they had all these different sunscreen containers or whatever you call them built, these giant sunscreens, and they would spray out certain amounts of sunscreen in a specific pattern and specific amounts of sunscreen, but it was enough so that you could recognize it. Like it was an actual pattern. So I guess you were supposed to figure out what was going to spray when and how much it had in each, and then strategically fill up your container to get a whistle.
That's right. Yeah.
So, how did you?
So I'm actually going to say something positive about Frenchie here in this particular moment. He started the POV a bit erratic. However, he impressed me that he recognized that the SPF ratings on the bottles coincided with the amount of time and water that came out of them.
And from the edit, he's the only one that noticed that. Like maybe other people did, but they cut it out that they mentioned it. But
that's right. But from the edit, from what we see on TV, it looks as though he figured it out. Now everybody else figured it out, pattern wise.
Yeah.
But I was kind of impressed that he kind of made that connection.
I was too. When he said SPF 30 was the highest and that was the most stream that was coming out, I went, huh? Because it almost okay, listeners, I'm okay. It almost seemed like
had a bit of a malfunction right now.
That's okay. It wasn't a wardrobe malfunction, or maybe it was. Go check out our YouTube video, like and subscribe. Okay, back to normal. It didn't seem like anybody else figured out the SPFs at all. It almost just looked like these are giant sunscreen bottles and let's follow the stream of water, which I feel like that's where my head would have been. I don't think I would have noticed the SPF numbers being different on them. And then that
It's amazing though when you really have to focus on all the details when you're in the house, because there are the subtle ones that will give you hints to what will help in a competition, or something in the house or whatever. But I tell you, I was impressed that he paid attention to that detail.
Yeah, I think it was really impressive. And I wondered if he was going to pull it out.
Yeah.
I was nervous watching that veto. I was like, I don't know who's going to win, right?
Yeah. But we come to our winner, which is Derek X yet again, pulling out a POV. So, is he going to be like, the next POV king, the Roe show?
Show, exactly. That's what I was thinking when I was watching. I was like, this is just like Roe. Like he's just gonna win all the vetoes. But do we think it's a good thing that he won this veto? Like it is, because it came down to no, because if he didn't have to win, Kyland would have won. Because he had the next.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, he didn't need to. He has a good relationship with Kyland. He won last week's veto. So does this
and he's not on anyone's radar yet in terms of a target. So is this going to start stepping him up in terms of being a competition target, right?
So to say, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. There was one thing he said though, that Derek X, he was, I don't know what the whole kind of premise of was, but he essentially said that he didn't want to use it because he made a comment that Frenchie was one of the biggest threats in the house right now. I don't know. I kind of felt that was kind of stretching it a bit, because I don't see Frenchie as a threat, just kind of more as a
unpredictable annoyance.
Yeah, well, okay, you said it.
I'm just thinking
about it's just like his choice of words on that for me was like, he's not really a threat, I don't think.
Yeah, it's more of like the house collectively wants him out because we just don't know what he's going to do, right?
Yeah.
So like you say, like not so much as a threat that like we think you can win every competition, but more so that like you're going to promise everybody the
well, I guess maybe in the sense that he's threatening to other people's game. Maybe that's what he meant by it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, okay. And then Frenchie does it. So he loses and he starts talking about, I thought that was wild. That last week we were talking about self-eviction. And then he sat down and was like, I think I'm just going to go home. And I'm like, fucking Tina, my God. Like, your predictions are like spot on. I'm going to give you to, like, after this, you just shout out your top 7 numbers to me. I'm going to write them down. I'm going to buy Lotto Max. See if I can win the lottery.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, like your predictions are happening.
It's because he's been on such an emotional roller coaster. That when you're so high and then you go right to so low, that I guess those thoughts of self-eviction kind of do cross your mind.
The fuck this mentality.
But of course, his conversation, Derek F.
I love that
around there.
I do still like, so I wish he would just align himself better, because I think that Derek F is I still think he's fabulous. I think he's going to be a good player. I think he's great with people, but I do think he needs to branch outside of his team and get stronger alliances with different people, basically. Yeah, for sure. But I did like his little pep talk to Frenchie.
I mean, to turn it around, maybe it added a bit of fuel to his fire. He'll have a little bit more fighting, for the rest of the week. Whether or not it helps, don't know.
It'll be good for TV.
Well, it's going to be interesting what happens if and when Frenchie gets evicted.
Yeah.
What happens after? But, that's next week.
Yeah.
So the conversation then with, Frenchie offering loyalty to Kyland and Derek X, offering his word. I mean, really, how far does that go
Too little, too late.
at this point? I mean, they all know that, he's throwing names out there. He's throwing people under the bus. He's, yeah,
Yeah.
really, it's
Gone
not really anything about his word right now, right?
Yeah, he's gone too far. He can't really recover. Like his pitch wasn't a bad pitch. He is a target. If he was to stay in the house this week, he would still be a target next week. I really do believe that.
Absolutely.
How can you come up with this pitch and say, oh, save me because I'm a big target? And like you said, like promise and safety and promise and this and that, when you have literally lied to like every single person in the house at this point, you've blown up a ton of people's games. There were people who were still lined with him after he had his terrible HOH week, like Brent and is it Whitney?
Whitney, yeah.
Brent and Whitney still wanted to work with him. Like Derek F still does want to work with him. Like he did have a lot of allies left after his week of HOH. But once this whole when Kylan started talking about, oh, I may or may not put you on the block, and he started running around the house erotically.
Oh my God.
Then again, his word got shot to hell. So people don't trust him, they don't believe him. So it would have been a good pitch, but it's almost too little too late for that pitch.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
And then Derek X decides he is not going to use the power of veto.
Yeah. No surprise there.
No.
It would not have been beneficial to his game to use it and take one of them down. I mean, I think, it's just to roll with the punches now and go with the plan that Colin wants to execute.
Yeah. And I think this is going to be a week. So yeah, like that leads me to predictions, but I think this is going to be a week where the house just kind of all votes together collectively for what the HOH wants, because this time around, I think it's what the whole house actually wants.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, he may get a pity vote in terms of, maybe one or two of his,
He might do it just for badness.
I know, right? I think from right now, the way it stands, unless Frenchie pulls out a miracle or finds some sort of hidden immunity or hidden veto or whatever, then I think he's going home.
Yeah. And I think it's early for like a hidden.
Oh yeah, like it'd be way too early for. I mean, you're talking about week 1. I mean,
yeah. So I
think 2.
Yeah, maybe week 4. Like I think that the teams are going to keep up for the first 4 weeks. I think after week 4, they'll probably say, okay, now you're all playing individual games. And then maybe you'll start to see some more twists coming into play.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
definitely.
But yeah, did I miss any of your notes? It's weird having short episodes. Crystal and I usually, because we used to do like the hour and a half with like 3 episodes, and our regular podcast always runs over an hour. So now I'm like, is that it? Are we done?
Yeah. I mean, I got everything covered in my notes pretty much. Again, love Tiffany. Yeah, I mean.
So short prediction or long-term prediction, who's top 3? Just based on the house right now.
Based on the house right now.
Who's sitting in those final 3 chairs?
I don't know. I'm really liking how Tiffany's playing. I think Xavier's playing a good game, although we haven't seen a lot about him. Very low key, but observing it all. He's in on conversations when he needs to be in on them. So I mean, I like Tiffany, I like Xavier, I like Derek X. You know what? Same way with Claire. Claire's playing a bit of a low key game as well. And I really like Kyland. I like seeing. I know I'm gone to what, 5 now. Hey, listen,
it's a good cast. It's hard.
It is. I you know what? The couple of scenes where Kyland, Claire, and Tiffany, when they were kind of in the room having conversations, they kind of showed them 2 or 3 times in the episode. So I'm kind of wondering, is there something kind of starting there with the 3 of them?
Yeah, I think they're a good team.
Are they going to be like a trio that moves beyond teams?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I also wonder about the team that Christian's on. I'm trying to remember now what all the teams' names are, but they showed them a couple of times talking, and they're talking
Yeah.
about how, hey guys, we're still flying under the radar. Let's just keep this going. Let them pick each other off. And that reminded me of TNT when you guys were on Big Brother Canada, because it was like, hey, let's let the snakes fight the snakes. We'll just sit back and let it happen. And I think that's a really brilliant strategy for early in the game.
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, you don't want to cause too many issues for other house guests in, you know, in the early part of the game. You don't want to rattle any cages. You don't want to put a target on your back. You have to get yourself to a certain point where then you can kind of turn it up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm, you know, the players that I kind of picked out, I believe, are kind of doing that very well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
The top three, I can't give you a top three right yet. I mean, top five is what I gave you.
I was thinking top three, and I was thinking in my head, I wasn't even thinking Derek X, and then you said Derek X, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, how was I not thinking Derek X? So I'm thinking Xavier and Tiffany for sure. Derek X, Brent, of course, just because.
See, you're throwing out the extra names too. You're going beyond the three.
There's no way I can't decide. I'm gonna have to start like picking names. We'll put our top 7 in a hat, and then we'll draw names.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, that was our episode 5 of, our episode 4, episode 5 of season 23 of Big Brother, and episode like 1,000,000 of Two Girls One Pod. Thank you, Tina, for being my special guest today.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm keeping Crystal's seat warm.
Yeah, you're the special regular guest.
Special regular guest.
Special reg.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll take it.
All right. So Blue Line.
Blue Line.
You already have a nickname. Okay. So Blue Line was here with us, and you'll be back again. We'll discuss tomorrow's episode. Sorry, pod people. I realize that this isn't live. We will discuss Thursday's episode on Friday. So you will get that late Friday afternoon. It won't be early morning like it normally is, but yeah, we'll have a discussion. You'll get it sometime Friday, and then tune in next week.
Big eviction coming tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
What the French?
Is he French toast?
All right. Is he? I think he is going to be French toast. So on that note, are you ready? Got your dancing pants?
I am ready.
Okay.
Do my cake.